Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, weekly podcast. It's for the haunted attraction, haunted entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And we return to you this week with episode 321. We're counting down to something, and I have no idea what it is.
No, hopefully something awesome.
Yeah, hopefully something else. Well, I mean, it's like the Royal Rumble. 3, 2, 1, and bang, someone usually awful comes out. But yes, indeed. We're doing 321, and we're talking about online ticketing. We're actually revisiting this issue. We'll get into more of the revisit side of this later. But really long-term listeners may remember that we've done this.
Yeah.
There's new information to share. There's new things to talk about. But I've got to say, I went back and reread the show notes for that episode. We got one thing really fucking right. It's become a big part of the industry in the 5 years. Nailed that one.
Yeah.
So yes, if you would like to check out that episode 42, by the way, you can do so at hauntweekly.com or Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, youtube.com/HauntWeekly's YouTube channel. Easiest way to listen to the episode, if I'm being honest. Go there, do a subscribe, do that fun stuff. I know a lot of people don't take advantage of that, but I think it's a great way to get access to the episodes. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. And yes, we are still hoping to transition back to doing live recordings. Things have been a little crazy. It's been a lot of personal stuff. Won't go into it.
Yeah.
But basically, right now, it's best if we keep doing these recordings like this so we can squeeze it into when it's good for our schedule, especially with upcoming events that are likely.
Right.
Well, on that note, everyone, as you know by now, every week we ask a question of the week.
We do.
Both here on the podcast and on Facebook. And this was a good one.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Shalisa, for this.
Shalisa Muehlberger proposed this question inadvertently, I think. I don't think she intended it to be the question of the week, but we stole it nonetheless. We asked, what strange thing can you not help yourself from collecting? And we got a lot of responses. I threw all of them in the show notes. We may not hit all of them, because there were a ton. Yeah. But I wanted them to be there.
Okay.
Tim Fowler said pumpkins, which that's not weird. We're haunters.
Yeah, it's not weird. We have at least 45?
No, we got more 50? Than that, babe. We got to have at least 60 or 70.
Yeah, we have a lot of pumpkins.
Honestly, we should probably take a pumpkin inventory at some point.
Yeah, whenever that, mythical cleaning of the shed happens, that's when that'll happen.
Yeah, because we used to... I remember one year when Walmart put their pumpkins on sale for like $1. Uh-huh. We just went, I think we loaded up like 3 shopping carts.
Oh, yeah.
We went nuts.
Yeah.
And then we self-checked out because we're assholes.
I don't remember the self-checkout part.
We self-checked.
But I do remember buying a lot of pumpkins that year.
Yes.
And then they didn't have them anymore.
No, they got rid of that particular style of pumpkin.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if maybe we just bought them and they were like none to resell the next year. Something, but I don't know. I have not seen that style of pumpkin in particular at Walmart since. So it makes our yard display seem pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jessica Woodward said stickers, but she refuses to use them.
Maybe she's just a sticker collector.
Yeah, maybe. Fine. Sam Farrell said as a haunter, he collects adapters, electronics adapters. Guilty of this myself. Definitely have tried to cut back on that, but personally, he collects glass bottle caps. With interesting artwork. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Roberta McClellan said skulls.
Yeah.
Another thing every haunter has tons of.
I think I know for a fact we have at least 30-something skulls. So.
Yeah.
Brian Barnes, DVDs of horror movies.
Pete Blackwell, top hats.
Ryan Harns, pins mostly anime related. I was not aware that there was an anime pin thing, honestly. I didn't...
Yeah. I don't know.
No, interesting.
Yeah. Ryan Greger said buying CDs.
Yes, that is a bit weird in 2022. I will agree with. Daryl Kirby, hearses. Holy crap! I wish I had the kind of disposable income that would let me collect hearses.
Yeah, and are these full-sized hearses, or are these miniature hearses, or are they a mixture of both?
Yeah, there was not a lot of explanation with this
but
one.
I assumed it was the cars, like, that you could drive.
Yeah.
Scott Mousseau said sale items for the holidays. Yes. Every holiday. Yes.
Yes. Rosemary Howard, lamps and Christopher Radko ornaments. I have no idea what Christopher Radko ornaments are.
No, we really should look that up.
Oh, should look that one up.
Maximus decks of cards.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. That's just kind of cool. Christian Risto said his old diabetic supplies, the syringes, the bottles. You know, you say that's weird, but I've known two people pretty closely with diabetes that actually required regular injections of type 1 diabetes, basically. Both of them collected it. It's I don't know if that's just a thing that, like, diabetic people do, or if I have a really weird sample size. But, like, my friend in high school who was type 1 diabetic and my grandfather both kept their old shit around.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why either of them did it. Anyway.
Brooke Englehart said Inwell and Cupid dolls.
And Eric Rudd, vintage Halloween decorations, human remains, which would not be legal in Louisiana.
Nope.
We are barred from collecting actual human remains, but you can, of course, here collect antique glass medicine bottles. In fact, that's probably, New Orleans is probably one of the best places to collect those, if we're honest.
Apparently, there's a good selection of uranium glass here, too. We've got a couple of friends collecting that.
Yeah. Interesting. So that brings us to this week's question of the week.
Yes.
What haunt absolutely lived up to the hype? And I think we came up with the same two answers.
Yes.
Because for us, it was Netherworld and Raven's Grin Inn.
Yeah.
And in both cases, we did everything we could to screw over the haunt. In both cases, we drove ungodly distances. We drove, in the case of Netherworld, from New Orleans to Atlanta.
Yeah, and the day that we went to Netherworld was not a fun trip there.
No.
That was a rough ride.
Yeah, that was... Driving in Atlanta is hands down one of the most stressful things on the planet.
Yeah.
And it wasn't helped by the fact that signage in Atlanta is terrible. And they have the world's most confusing interstate system on top of, like, one of the busiest interstate systems. So it's just horrible. And plus, we couldn't even find where to pull into our goddamn hotel.
Yeah.
Spent 10 fucking minutes trying to find the fucking entrance to the hotel. I'll never forget that. Tiny little sign, days in this weekend. I couldn't fucking see that.
No.
Anyway. But yeah, so it was not a pleasant trip, but we got to Netherworld when everything was just made right.
Yeah.
Netherworld made the universe right. It brought order to things. It was that good. And this was at the old location. Last year they had the old location. In Raven's Grin Inn, we drove from St. Louis, where we were visiting Ellie's family, up to Mount Carroll, which is a pretty good drive, through absolute nothingness.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only been 2 drives in my life I was convinced I was going to fall off the end of the earth. One was going to Key West, and one was going to Mount Carroll, Illinois.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, and we didn't know really what to expect when we got there.
Yeah, we had one friend who had told us randomness about it.
You gotta go.
You gotta go, you gotta go. This happens and there's slides and this and and you could tell, like, Kyle is such a collected guy normally. He was not collected when talking about Raven's Grin Inn. It was all over the map.
Yeah.
And so eventually we just broke down and went, and glad we did. And we went on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it was a random day in the middle of summer. Everything about it was crazy, and it totally lived up to the hype. So both of those haunts. So what haunts do you have that live up to the hype? Leave your answer at all the usual places. We do check them, and we will post the question of the week on our Facebook page at facebook.com/hauntweekly. Easiest place to answer and comment is there if you want.
Yeah, and I am going to throw in that 13th Gate does live up to it too.
Yeah, I'll give that. And
especially like the new escape rooms.
But no, it's the new escape rooms. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know.
And 13th Gate, I see that it's so crazy for me because we go to it so often.
Yeah.
I almost forget it has that much hype behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that I'm not blown away by it. I forget the hype part of it.
Exactly.
So, yes, that is a very valid point.
Well, yeah, it's like whenever we were in England and we said that we went to see, the ruins.
Yeah.
And Tynemouth.
Yeah.
And then,
you like that pile of rocks? What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly. That's what our friends told us. It's like, they were awesome.
That pile of rocks is older than our nation by like 600 years minimum.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A, that.
Uh-huh.
And B, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Anyway, but yeah, when you live that close to something, you forget the hype and what makes it exciting.
Exactly.
So that's a good point. Well, anyways, folks, we're talking about online ticketing again.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. We covered this previously in episode 42, which aired back, if you are ready for this, September 2016.
Wow.
It's 5.5 years ago, basically.
Yeah.
We're doing this one in January 2022, so it's basically 5.5 years.
Yeah.
That is crazy pants.
It doesn't seem like we've been doing this that long.
Apparently we have, though. I am flabbergasted.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this long. It's over 5 years ago. And I went back and I looked through the show notes, and actually I borrowed some of the formatting because it made sense. We want to make some of the same points over again. Mm-hmm. But a lot has definitely changed in this space. And so I wanted to talk about basically online ticketing broadly, provide you guys with some updates, and basically the reason we want to talk about it now is for the obvious reason. Talking about it in September 2016 was a disservice. That was too late for anyone to implement anything.
Right.
Now we're talking about it in the smart time of year, January. We were talking previously, shit you should be doing for your haunt right now. Uh-huh. This is on the list. Yeah. If you do not have online ticketing, this is something you can do. You can set up right now and basically make life a lot better for your customers and make yourself a lot more money.
Yeah, and we'll have some pre-mortem questions for you to think about later on. And, these will be things to take to the individual providers and ask how they handle it if you can't find it.
Yeah, exactly. They come in with some good questions if you're implementing this. Because trust me, and this is a topic I'm deeply passionate about. Mm-hmm. I want to be very clear. I am very, very passionate about online ticketing. And because I do a lot of web development in my day job. I believe in the internet. I believe in the power of the internet. And I believe this is an area where the industry has severely lacked. Mm-hmm. And it's not just online ticketing. It's online merch sales, online presence broadly has lacked. Mm-hmm. And I want to fix that.
Yeah.
I want to fix that. I want to do what I can to fix it. So we're going to talk about online ticketing. But yeah, we covered in episode 42. If you want to go that far back and listen to it and compare and contrast, Godspeed to you. Yeah.
Well, and the thing is that, this is also selfish because if we help haunts get their online ticketing on point, then it helps us when we're buying our tickets to go to the haunts.
Yeah. Yeah, for haunt, if we've talked about how we plan haunt trips, and maybe we'll actually do an episode on how we plan haunt trips.
Yeah.
Sometime that can be kind of a cool episode to look at it from the other side, and how we do these crazy ass haunt trips where we hit 3-4 haunts a night.
Yeah.
In a town we've never been to. Mm-hmm. Or never really spent much time. We've been to Atlanta, for example. We never really spent much time there.
No, I've driven through it.
And I know I know you spent a lot of time in Houston.
Right.
But not for haunt stuff. So, yeah, stuff like that. It's interesting, so maybe that's something we'll cover later. But online ticketing is a huge help in that, and we'll talk a little bit more about why that's the case as we go into this episode. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. What's in it for you? I understand that's the question every haunt's going to ask. Why should I give a flying fuck about online ticketing? Because fucks can fly.
Yes.
That is why you should do it. Mm-hmm. Basically, online ticketing encourages more and larger orders, especially if you use it as an opportunity to cross-sell. This is one thing haunts do not do enough of, I think, which is cross-sell. They don't cross-sell with their merch. They don't cross-sell with anything else that they provide. They have an opportunity here, and they miss it. But especially with cross-sell, it also improves throughput. Every minute someone is in the ticket line, as opposed to having ticket in hand when they show up, is time wasted.
Yeah.
It's time wasted for them. It's time wasted for you.
And it's time, spent getting aggravated and lying.
Yeah. Remember our theory here, something we're very adamant about. Every moment a customer is on your property or attending your haunt, they should either be entertained or making you money.
Yeah.
Ideally both, but at least either or.
Yeah, exactly.
And ticket line time is like queue line time. It's neither. It is neither profiting you, and it's not going to be very entertaining. It's not for very long, especially. So yeah, this improves ticket throughput greatly. C, some tickets don't get redeemed.
Mm-mm.
Some people will buy the tickets and change their mind.
We've done that the past 2 years.
No, we've done that.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I can't imagine why we would not be attending haunted attractions in 2020 and 2021.
No.
No idea. No idea at all. The pandemic. I've taken to calling it.
Yes. Kid was right.
Kid, that 5-year-old kid, there's an old meme about a 5-year-old kid who pronounces it the pandemic. And I just think we have to all agree the kid is right and move on.
Exactly.
I believe that's just the order of the universe now. Mm-hmm. When a better idea comes along, you accept it and integrate it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, some tickets don't get redeemed. That's free money. It gives you better integration with your marketing, your social media, and your customer outreach in general. If a customer comes up and gives you their credit card, hopefully you're not storing their credit card information.
Hopefully
That'd be
not.
fucking stupid. But you don't necessarily get that email address, that phone number. You don't get the juicy contact info. You just get a transaction and they're off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you have to find a way to get that information later as part of a separate process. With online ticketing, it's all one process. Mm-hmm. You get to build that list. You get to help market people. And if you're smart about how you do it, you can even get customer consent to contact them throughout the year and season.
Yes.
Get that little tick box so that, hey, can we text you with updates? Can we email you?
Do you want to know about upcoming events?
and things we're doing. Yeah. Get on our mailing list type thing. Believe me, it's so much easier to do it via online ticketing than in person.
Yes.
100 times. I had to input my email address.
Very much so.
I had to input my email address physically. I went to 5 Minute Oil Change to get the oil change in the car. And it's a new to us car, so 5 Minute Oil didn't have a record on it. I had to use input my email address.
Yeah. And
it is such a pain to do in an in-person space like that.
Yeah, it is. And, I'll do you one worse.
Oh, God.
So one of my bosses insists that every time we have an event that we have a paper sign-up sheet with pens so that people can sign up to get information. Not like they didn't sign up for this event online, because they did. Because right now, everybody has to sign up in advance in order to be able to attend. So we're getting that information already. I don't understand the paper and pen.
It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. I love you. We're going to get through this.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. It's really a bad sign when she's the one going on the fucking rant. I'll tee off on anything.
Yeah.
She's very, very selective about her teeing off.
Yeah.
Anyways, but the main reason, realistically, is that it's something customers expect. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's 2022, goddammit. You need to have an online presence, and part of that online presence is a way to get money from your customers. Mm-hmm. We hunt for jobs online. We find people to date online. We order food online.
We look for jobs that we can work from home online.
Yeah. We expect to do everything online, especially everything involving money. And one of the things that's changed since we did the last one, we didn't even talk about this, was all the new fucking ways to give money, receive money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the last time around, we mentioned PayPal, because that existed.
Exactly.
But what about fucking Venmo? What about Zelle and Cash App and Facebook Pay and...
Yeah, all of these ways that you can get money.
So yeah, and this has a lot of benefits to customers too. Mm-hmm. It's a mutual, this is a rare time in which a rising tide does lift all boats. I hate that expression most of the time, but it's true here. Because the customer saves time. Mm-hmm. It's much easier to do an online ticket purchase than is the stand in a ticket booth line and wait however minutes or whatever, and then hand your card over, do the transaction, whatever. Or God help you if you have to get cash from an ATM.
Oh, gosh.
Seriously, if you have a cash-only haunt, I've decided I am not doing business with cash-only haunts ever again.
Yeah, if we roll up and it's cash-only, we're out. Sorry.
No, not doing it. Because I'm just going to assume something sketchy's going on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we actually did skip a couple of haunts in the
Houston.
Texas area.
Yeah, in Houston, yeah. Because of that.
Houston area.
Yeah. I mean, if that little teeny tiny haunt near the border can take credit card after they were nearly destroyed by a flood, your haunt can too, for the love of God.
Exactly.
I'm trying to remember the name of that haunt, but it was a tiny little haunt. It was a great haunt. It was a good haunt, but it was right near the Texas-Louisiana border on the Texas side. It was in a flood zone. It had just been flooded out. Mm-hmm. And they had a fucking square reader right there. They were taking credit cards, even under the most impossible conditions. They were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You got to applaud them. Anyways. So, yeah. And also, it benefits customers, making pricing clearer. They basically know exactly what they're going to pay up front. They get to use their preferred payment method. Mm-hmm. Especially if you integrate with, like I said, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, and all that other stuff. And it gives them access to special offers they may not be able to get in person. You can use that for promotional opportunities that really don't work well in person.
Yeah, it's that cross promotion that you were just talking about.
Exactly. And that can help customers as well as you. It drives sales, and it gives customers, it also helps with price differentiation. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is a big thing. It helps everyone involved.
And just in case we didn't mention it earlier, it also enables time ticketing.
Oh, yes, that is very important. Yeah. It does enable time ticketing, and that is something you pretty much cannot do at a physical ticket booth.
No.
And in fact, if you are wanting to move to time ticketing, you can do it with a physical ticket booth, but it's very difficult. And we can, like, you got to do something like what Camp Blood did, or what that other haunt in Atlanta did that had the big open area. Mm-hmm. That you would wander around.
Yeah.
You have to do something like that. And then have the main queue for the haunt be the separate thing off to the side. So anyways, how does online ticketing work? Basically, most haunts are going to partner with a third-party service. Mm-hmm. I don't really see many haunted attractions rolling their own just because it involves a lot of work and a lot of technical know-how. And honestly, for most haunts, it probably isn't worth it. By the time you bring in the experts and get the people that can do it, you're going to put so much money up front, you're never going to make it back on what you save.
Right.
So generally speaking, you're going to partner with some third-party service. And those services can have a pretty wide range, though. They can be basically a turnkey service that you go kerplunk onto your site and also onto your ticket booth.
Right.
And it runs the whole shebang for you. And basically, it serves as both, the online storefront, the ticket booth, and the back-end payment processor. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. All credit card charges have fees. Now, before you get, we can't afford to take credit cards, I'd like to postulate something different. I think cash transactions have a fee too. They have a fee in the terms of the people that walk away.
Yes.
Those lost sales, that's a fee.
Yeah.
And the time and energy it takes your ticket booth, if you're paying them, the people in your ticket booth, their time is literally money too.
Right.
And so their time they're literally handling the cash is a fee.
Yeah, and right now I know that our friends who work in retail spaces hate cash because it's so dirty. So every time they take cash, they have to sanitize their hands.
Yeah. So people are always like, oh, we take cash because there's no fees. Oh, no, there are fees with cash. Mm-hmm. They're just hidden fees that you don't pay. And frankly, you're, in many cases, just too dumb to figure out. I'm sorry. I get mad at cash-only businesses. I really do. Because there are, in the age of Square and Stripe, there is no fucking excuse.
There's not.
If I can take credit cards for my piddly little, expert witness copyright enforcement gig, mm-hmm. You can, for a haunt.
Well, not just that, but if you go out to friends for a meal, you can just Zelle them or Venmo them the money right there at the table instead of having to split the check.
Yeah. It's so much easier to live in this digital society. And I know there are fees. Yeah. I know it's annoying. But like I said, cash has its own costs. And God help you, checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have fees until one bounces. Then they have pretty high fees.
Well, and you have to have the new kind of like register.
E-check reader and all.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah, that's a big setup too if you don't have.
Yeah, I don't think haunts take checks for a very good fucking reason.
Yeah.
But if your haunt is cash only, I'm serious. You're past due to get onto this.
Yeah.
Like I remember eons ago, the last business that was still cash only we regularly went to was the yogurt place.
Creole Creamer.
No. There was a yogurt place right near our house. It was like a TCBY or something. It was in that shopping center.
Yeah.
They accepted it was not a TCBY. It was a little independent thing. Even they finally got a credit card reader like 10 years ago. It was So you're behind.
Yeah, and the only exception I can think of is if you are so rural that there's no internet at your place.
Which honestly, with Starlink coming online, is becoming less and less of an excuse.
Yeah.
Because if you're in that situation, look at Starlink.com. They might be able to connect you with high-speed internet via satellite at a very affordable price. It's actually, from what I've heard and read, it actually works really well. We can't get it here because it seems to be coming north to south, like Canada's covered.
Yeah.
And much of the northern half of the United States is covered, but it's coming north to south. And so here in New Orleans, we don't have it yet, much to the chagrin of one of my friends I'm trying to find internet access for. But it's supposed to be down here by Halloween season this year. So, knock on wood. Right? But here's the thing. Those rates, those credit card fees that I was talking about, just totally went off on. Well, both a percentage of sale, usually around 3%, and a per charge fee, per transaction fee, usually 30 cents or lower. You can also see Stripe and Square for this. However, if you use a turnkey system, or a largely turnkey system, you'll have to pay a service fee to that system too. There are two fees. One to whatever company you're partnering with, and one for the actual payment processing.
Yeah.
You have to keep this in mind. That amount, as we're going to discuss in a minute, fluctuates pretty wildly. But yeah, customers purchase tickets online. They receive a QR code that is then scanned for admission. Typically what will happen is people at the door will have an iPhone or an iPad or something, a tablet or a phone that has a QR code scanner built into it and an app, and those go ba-doop.
Yeah.
And if you're having issues with scanning,
right.
I wanted to throw this out while we were briefly talking about this.
No, that's a good idea.
Because here's some of the tips to fixing those scanning issues. One, tell people to turn the brightness of their goddamn phone up. I keep my brightness super low.
You do.
Because A, I can see it fine.
I can't.
And B, it saves battery. But have people turn up the brightness before they get the QR code scanned. That helps immensely. Make sure they don't have a screen protector like an OtterBox with the plastic face on it. Will cause scanners not to work, so have them take them out of the case. It is annoying, but it might be necessary. Make sure that the area you're doing the scanning is lit enough for the people doing the work to see. Give them light, because I've been in several times where basically the poor people at the door can't find their ass from a hole in the ground because it's negative lumens in there and they can't fucking find anything. So yeah, do all those things. Make sure though that the QR code can be delivered. The QR code can be delivered via an app, but for reasons we'll get into in a little bit, email or text is always preferred, at least as an option. All right, so I did some research, and by research I mean Googling around and reading websites.
Well, yeah, that's research.
It's not published research. It's not like research. No. It's just research.
It's what the colloquial research.
Yes, exactly. And I found what I believe to be, based on multiple searches, the major haunted attraction ticket players as of 2022. I have them in no particular order. I think I actually might have them in the order of the Google results or something. But
probably.
Not any order I put them in.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for this order. It's chaotic order.
All right. So the first one is HauntPay.
HauntPay.com.
Yes. Lots of people have heard of this. It claims to be the only ticketing and payment solution aimed at haunts.
Guys, you might want to remove that claim.
Yeah.
It wasn't even true 6 years ago when we did the fucking previous one.
Yeah. It features HauntPay Capital. It can provide capital for haunts up to $50,000.
I thought this was interesting. They're actually doing a capital investment thing where they can inject haunts with a certain amount of capital. I don't know all the terms about it. There was only a blurb on the site about it, and you have to contact them to learn like anything else. And I'm not going to bug these guys just for this podcast.
Right.
But yeah, it was an interesting idea. It was something I felt that was worth a mention.
Yeah, they do timed ticketing.
Ticketing.
Various ticket types and combos. Special media discount.
Yeah,
social media discounts. Promises payment within 2 business days.
Yeah.
That's important.
That is very important, and it is all in one. It will do both your in-person ticket sales and your online sales.
Yeah.
So, price. Mm-hmm. They emphasize there are no haunt pay fees. Obviously, the processing fees. Remember, 2 types of payments.
Right.
There's no haunt pay fees in person. The total fees, their fees and their payment process, because you can use them. They are the payment processor too. So this is all one pipeline. It's 5.25% per transaction, 50 cents per item, and 30 cents per transaction. Which is because here's the thing I found frustrating on their site. All the others were kind enough to combine it. They have, look at our low haunt pay fees, and by the way, here's our credit card processing fees, like shunted into the corner.
Yeah.
It just felt
Well, I mean, and that's something that crafters who build online stores have a problem with too.
Yeah, because you got to pay the Etsy fee plus the processing fee.
Exactly. That's why I left Etsy, because they
so
stacked up.
What I've done is I've created an imaginary transaction.
Yes.
4 tickets purchased at $20 each, so a total transaction of $80 with 4 items, 4 $20. And I figure that's $20 might be a little low for the ticket price if we're honest.
Yeah.
But it's a reasonable transaction.
Yeah.
To kind of start with, I thought the cost of that transaction, that $80 transaction, will be $6.50 for both the haunt pay fees and the processing fees. They encourage haunts to hide the cost as quote unquote convenience fees. We're getting to that later. And they offer significant discounts for large haunts.
Which is interesting, because I know that they want the large haunts because they are going to do more ticket sales, is what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But those smaller haunts are the people who probably actually need more help. Yeah,
and the other thing about it is they also offer discounts if you sign for a multiple-year contract, agree to a contract. They don't actually have contracts, but if you agree to a contract, there's discounts there too. So, just thoughts.
Like a gym.
Yeah, kind of. All right, next up is Fearticket, Fearticket.com. They claim to be the cheapest. Will they? Let's find out. They offer both online and in-person sales, but you have to bring your own payment processor. They do not have a payment processor. So what we're going to do when we get to the pricing in a minute, we're going to compare using Square or Stripe, as they are the 2 big players right now, and they are the 2 easiest ones to set up. You can get cheaper payment processing, I know, but I'm assuming anyone that doesn't have this set up now probably wants the easiest inroad possible. So I'm focusing on convenience over absolute cost savings. Basically, they are much more hands-on. There's less turnkey. Basically, functions like a WordPress. I think it is a WordPress plugin. So you're going to have to do some work here, some web development work, and you're going to have to integrate your payment processor. You're going to have to take some steps here.
Right.
It's going to require some web and some computer knowledge, but they do promise instant payment, which is odd because that would be something the processor actually handles.
Right.
I'm very confused by that because I know, I use Square for my business as my primary invoicing tool, and Square is great and I love it. But they pay out after 2 days. However, I have the option of an instant payout at a higher fee. And I sometimes take it up because it's only 10 cents more. Yeah. And other times I just I'll wait.
Yeah, most of the time it's just, we'll wait.
And most of the time I even forget that it's coming in, for being honest with each other. So, pricing. Their fee is only 50 cents per ticket, flat. And it does not apply to in-person sales. In-person sales are still free. However, like I said, you've got to bring your own payment processor. So, if you use Square or Stripe, the total cost of that imaginary $20 ticket transaction is $4.62. Now compare that to the $6.50 for haunt pay. You're starting to see the difference in price you get with the turnkey versus the more hands-on-y type.
Right.
So just saying, that's what's causing that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Next up.
So next up is hauntedticketing.com. Now this one is one that we know the least about.
Their site is not very information dense.
No, not really.
It's bizarre. They have like a one-page site with almost no info. I'm almost hesitant to even include them.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it anyway.
It says that they send money daily. Does not say if in-person ticketing is possible.
No mention of in-person ticketing or time ticketing at all.
Mm-mm. And the price for this one is $1.50 per ticket and credit card processing.
No, it's 50 cents per ticket. Sorry.
Oh, 50 cents per ticket. Sorry.
That's the one from the board.
Yeah, I know. And I knew I was going to mess that up when I read the notes.
50 cents per ticket and a credit card processing fee of 3% plus 30 cents, which is that's the same thing Stripe and Square charge.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty bog standard rate. And that means the cost of that imaginary transaction is $4.70. They had it listed as $4.68 on their site using their calculator, but we'll just say it's in that range.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's not a lot of info. You've got to contact them if you want anything, and I'm a little unnerved that their contact email is a Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
It just...
yeah.
That's unnerving.
Yeah, if you're going to have a business, you should get a domain.
Yeah, you really... And they have a domain, they just don't run their email through it.
Yeah. Which
you can do that and keep Gmail pretty easily, but that's neither here nor there. But still, so yeah, they're interesting, I think, and they're offering something that's very comparable in both, seems like in price and feature to Fearticket.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to see. And the final one is we're going to look at today. Because even though they're not just haunted attraction oriented, they're making a major push to bring on haunts. And that is Ticket Leap. They do offer on-site and online sales. There are no fees for in-person sales. That theme continues.
Mm-hmm.
There's no mention one way or the other of time ticketing. And free events have free ticketing. We were actually going to use Ticket Leap in 2019 when we were thinking about opening up with a timed ticketing system. And they're going to be offer free but timed tickets.
Right.
We ended up not opening in 2019 at all. I'm sorry, 2020 at all. It was 2020 we were going to do that.
Right.
We ended up not doing that, but they were the ones we were looking at because free events are free. And that was really, really cool. They offer payment within 3 to 5 business days, but that's after the event ends. And I do not know how they structure events. If it's like one day of haunting as an event, or is it the entire run of the show that's an event?
Right. Yeah, I think that you would want to find that out before you sign up with them. Because if it's, the entire run of the show, then you're waiting to get all of that money.
And you may need that money.
Yeah.
In fact, you probably will need that money. Who am I kidding?
Mm-hmm.
Price. Assuming you use them as the processor. The fees are $1 and 2% for each ticket, plus 3% credit card processing. They do not have a per transaction fee, which is great because the cost of those 4 tickets that cost $20 is still $8, making them easily the most expensive. And one thing that's kind of weird is because since they base everything on per ticket, that amount is flat no matter how many tickets are sold. So you're going to basically be $2, it's going to be 10% of each ticket, each $20 ticket is going to it. And that's just completely off the top. And like I said, and it's weird because with some, or most even, since there is a per transaction fee in there, like orders of large numbers of tickets singularly will save money. Because it's one transaction, lots of tickets in big order. But since this one, everything seems to be based per ticket and it's a flat percentage transaction cost on the processing side, it's basically is a $20 ticket, 10% is gone. They do have a special though for sub $5 tickets. Don't know how many haunts that applies to. Those are 25 cents per ticket. Just flat fee, 25 cents, which is nice, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, basically the decision is whether you're going to go for a higher cost of online ticketing and get a more turnkey solution, something that's more hands-off, something that's more just set up to drop and run.
It's convenient for you.
Convenient for you, but more expensive for you. Or are you going to go with something that's a little more hands-on, but may save you money? That's the real decision there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's arguments to be made for both. But here's the thing. You know your numbers. You know your ticket price. You know the average number of tickets bought per transaction.
Mm-hmm.
You should.
You should, yeah.
If you don't, what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And basically punch in your numbers and think about that. And no matter what system you choose, test, and test again. The reason is problems with ticketing will cost more money than any processing or transaction fee. Now, there are some hazards and some pre-mortem stuff we want to talk about. So, first off, what about haunt cancellations and closures? What happens if you can't open it? It's especially a big deal if you're an outdoor haunt and you get rained out.
Right.
What are you going to do to the online tickets that were sold? Are you going to automatically honor them another night? Well, what if it's the last night?
Yeah.
What if I'm going on the last night of your haunt, I buy my ticket, and then a sudden rainstorm hits and you're canceled? What happens? What's the plan here? Think about how those refunds are going to work. Think about how you're going to handle that, and work with the company you're teaming with to solve that problem in advance. Next up is chargebacks. Credit cards do beget chargebacks sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare in my experience, but it does happen. Ask for the policies of the payment processors on chargebacks before they happen so you're not taken by surprise. Also, what about user mistakes?
Yeah.
What if the user screws up? What if dipshit George there orders too many tickets?
Well, or, whenever there was that one time that we went to the Renaissance Festival,
Mm-hmm.
and their ticket processor was running slow,
Mm-hmm.
and we accidentally bought like 8 tickets for the 2 of us.
Yeah.
So we had to get somebody over to help,
With that. Yeah. Yeah. What if they order it what if you're doing time ticket and they order it for the wrong time? We made this mistake in an escape room.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to book an escape room for my birthday. The online system, I would argue, was confusing.
Yeah.
And I booked it for the day after.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, really thought I had booked it for the day. But regardless, how do you deal with that? What are going to be your policies regarding these types of user errors? Is it just going to be, sorry, tough shit? Or are you going to try to work with people and make them happy? And, the answer's got to be somewhere in between, honestly. Because if I make an honest mistake in buying it, and there's just nothing that can be done about it, I may not be tempted to come back to it. Like the escape room worked with us. They got us booked for a later time in a different room. But we still got my birthday escape room deal.
Yeah.
Even if it was an absolute trash escape room. But that side of it went well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically do a pre-mortem on all of these issues and try to figure out what your policies are going to be and have a plan in place for when they happen. And like I said, work it out with whoever you're doing business with. Have them, talk to them about this. Get their answers on what they recommend and how others that they work with handle it. That's one. Let them be your guide. That's what you're paying them to do, for the love of God.
Yeah.
That's how they earn their fecking money. All right. In this show with some annoyances. Annoyances to avoid. 1, a difficult ordering process.
Yeah.
Come on.
This should be easy for your customers.
How many options are there really? Even with cross-sells and upsells.
Mm-hmm.
How many options are there? You might have a time, you might have a VIP versus regular, and you might have an upsell for a package of some type, like with a t-shirt and whatnot. It shouldn't be that complicated. Some haunts manage to make it really fucking complicated, and I don't know how they pull it off. Next one, requiring an app.
Yeah.
This is the Ticketmaster Gambit. I've seen this before. Apps are cool as an option. Like if I go into a lot of haunts and I know a lot of these haunts are using the same app, I may be tempted to install it, especially if it will install my ticket in my Apple Wallet, where it's real easy to pull up in line. That's cool, but don't make it be the only way. Make sure that those codes can be texted and emailed and received other ways. Because a lot of people aren't going to put an app on their phone just to go to your haunt.
Correct.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the even worse thing you can do.
Yes.
is force me to print the fucking tickets. Online ordering, print your fucking... I ain't got a fucking printer.
Yes.
Ain't nobody got a fucking printer.
And I can't count the number of times we have gone somewhere and we pull it up and it says, print this ticket. And it's like, oh crap, we didn't print it. But they were still able to take it. So make that clear.
Yeah. Save this ticket. Just show your phone. You know, yeah, we've had that confusion multiple times. And it's just so frustrating. I mean, honestly, yeah, don't require anyone to print out something. That's a trip to Office Max or Kinko's or something like that for me. Because we haven't had a printer in 10 years.
Yeah.
We got over it because we kept buying new printers. Because printers were cheaper than ink cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
And so then next thing you know, we had like a dozen fucking printers.
Yeah.
And we finally dropped them off in an electronics recycling place. And we just said, screw it. For the rare occasion we need to print something, we'll just send it to Office Max or something.
Yeah.
We're
or
done.
The library.
Or the library. We are done with the printer game. And we have been done. We made that stick. All right. The controversial one that I know a lot of haunts don't want to hear. Hidden user fees. Nearly every one of those companies we talked about said somewhere about, hey, this will cost you nothing. Just add it as a convenience fee to the user. Don't fucking do that.
No.
Look, I know that studies show it's more effective from a money standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
That customers are more likely to buy rather than it being baked into the price. Here's my real suggestion. Just make the price the same for your ticket booth and online ordering and eat that slight extra cost. Because, because if you don't, that makes your in-person tickets cheaper and destroys the advantage and destroys the initiative, the reason to buy online.
Yeah.
Which we just discussed we're trying to encourage people to do.
Yeah, now the thing is that you could take those fees and include them in the ticket price as just your flat price for both.
Yeah.
That way you get the fee prices even on in-person sales. Yeah. So you're getting that little bit extra.
Yeah.
But don't put it as a convenience fee. It is nobody's convenience.
I can think of at least a couple of times I've been in line and someone shows up to join his friend to go to haunt. Friend bought ticket online. Other guy showing up, gets to the ticket booth. Friend who bought online realizes, hey, wait a minute, I paid $3 more for my ticket.
Yeah.
I feel like a mark.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like an idiot. And he should. He got hornswoggled.
Mm-hmm.
Bamboozled even.
But it wasn't his fault.
It was not his fault. He was trying to be good and having things planned in advance. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And besides, I mean, are we going to look at the concert industry and go, yeah, the Ticketmaster model, that's what we should copy?
No.
Please don't do that.
I have missed events, like concerts that I really wanted to see because of the Ticketmaster fees. And I will miss haunts if they go that route.
Yeah. Yeah. We missed the first time Steel Panther came to town. Oh. We skipped it.
Yeah. I was thinking Evanescence.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We missed that one, too.
Yeah.
Because the ticket, and it was crazy because the Ticketmaster fees were just, in one case, they were higher than the goddamn ticket price.
It was the cost of another ticket.
Like, the two of us would have been the cost of 3 people going.
Yeah, exactly.
Theoretically. Yeah, it was nuts. Here's the thing. Your ticket fees, which, like I said, payment processing fees always come out in person or online. You always got that. So the only extra fees for the online order is the fees applied by whatever third party you're partnering with. Mm-hmm. Those usually are not the bigger fees. So basically, those fees should be made up by non-redeemed tickets, free money, increased sales, more people buying, and that additional yummy marketing information.
Yeah.
Do you know how much people pay for that type of contact information? And you know these people are your customers. They've already given you money. Mm-hmm. This is valuable information. If that is not worth the 50 cents or whatever the fee is, I can't help you. You're not doing enough with it. So yes. And also, in the same vein, don't make me a mark for buying my tickets early.
No. I
am taking the risk by buying tickets early, because I might never go. I might never make it. I'm taking the risk. Mm-hmm. So why do some haunts insist upon offering sales halfway through the season that are better than the early bird sales and the people that are buying them in advance? Don't make me feel like a mark for getting in early.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't. So yeah. But basically, the focus here, to wrap it up, make online ticket buying an exclusively customer positive experience. It's that easy.
Yeah.
It's really and truly that easy.
If you get frustrated trying to buy your own ticket, then change it.
Yeah. This is something we need to encourage and reward, especially as we're shifting more to online ticketing, especially as more and more people are buying online.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the trend of people buying more and more and doing more and more online is not going to reverse itself.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's just not the way it works. So yeah, the fees are made up easily in other ways. You've got more information. You're going to make bigger sales. You're going to get more customers. And if your margins are so thin that amount for the online, like I said, not the processing fee. You're always going to pay that processing fee. It's the Haunt Pay fee. It's the Fearticket fee. It's the whatever fee, right? The Ticket Leap fee, whatever. If that fee is putting you in the red, then you need to raise your ticket prices for other reasons. Your margins are way too low.
Yeah.
You need to go up on ticket prices anyway. That's not a problem with the processing. That's a problem with your pricing. But yeah, a good experience in this makes the world go round, because I know when I've had a good online ordering experience and I've got my tickets and I'm confident that I'm ready to show up, it just puts me in a better mood when I get to the haunt.
Because you're not anxiety-ridden about having to buy the ticket.
Yeah, I got to find the ticket booth, buy the ticket booth.
Stand in line for the ticket booth.
Yeah. It just improves the experience so much. And isn't that what we're trying to do? Give people good experiences?
Yeah.
Was my thought.
I think so.
Anyways, that is all for this week. This has been a good one. I want to do another episode down the road, because I wanted to put it in here on time ticketing, but I really do think that's a separate episode, because I just realized we had too much to talk about, even with me cutting back the number of processors we were talking about. We had too much. It was too busy. So we're going to do that another time. I really want to get into that. So when that episode comes out, if you want to be notified about it, you can check us out at hauntweekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook. YouTube.com/Haunt Weekly is our YouTube channel. Please subscribe there, be alerted. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the usual place you get your podcasts. But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week with more Haunted Attraction Talk. Looking forward to it.